Alright, so the name of this video is going to be I Can't Stand the Fact That You Gay. Alright, so um, in my life, I haven't just done nothing with my life. I have a resume, and I was thinking about putting music production on there because I've contributed to um, writing songs for some of these rappers and singers, analyzing people's lifestyles and stuff. And even though literature wasn't really a strong point for me, I mean, it wasn't a weakness either. You know what I'm saying? It was basically it shows that I have a creative ear to create music. That's why I think I need to put music producer. I freestyle whole songs with a different tongue and dialect. And when I was a kid, just from an intellectual perspective, I can't blame none of these people that was sitting there disrespecting me because of trying to prove loyalty to whatever they had going on in their personal lives. Um, people have to get it how they live, and what that means is basically if you grow up in any demographic anywhere, period, if you can develop an advantage over somebody, sometimes you may need to do that to, you know, have success in your life. Everybody doesn't live by principles. Everybody doesn't. There's no telling. You never know what obstacles you're going to face. I'm a black woman and people use that against me. Being a female, one of my first bad experiences was basically realizing that people really wanted me to reject, growing up, their laws. You know what I'm saying? And I actually support those laws, the legal age of tender and all that stuff, of people not, practicing, um, actually engaging in doing grown up things. That movie ATL says we grew up quick. That's why it's a lot of people out here that are not um, as successful as they could be because, there may be tension created between them and others. Everybody, I was always thinking when I was a kid, if you were in a relationship at an early age, I guess like me working in a restaurant, I guess, you have to learn to appreciate things more, look up things, look up who built some of these buildings, keep civilization going, like I said in one of my last videos. Um, mm, when I lived in Georgia, life balances itself out. I grew up in the Atlanta area, and I often wondered, some people are well off or are able to live in a decent neighborhood, but in essence, that is not what, you know, you can survive crime anywhere. It's all about the setup of your life. So what I was dealing with, like, it's a show called Sunny Rain. I'm not sure if it's still on YouTube, but it basically displayed, cutthroat actions of people pickpocketing people, and I was pretty much analyzing, as an empath, the behavior around me. I pretty much started analyzing the behavior around me and realizing that some people was, having babies at early ages and they was gonna get it how they live. And I just feel like I say that now as a living as a female, but if I was a man, I probably would dedicate my life to a woman. I would not actually care about like doing all the extra stuff. Like, how niggas grow up in the hood and shit. I mean, I know people want better for themselves and stuff because it creates a better, if you create a social life for yourself, You know what I'm saying? It's just a sense of normalcy about that. But in reality, you know, there are normal and abnormal behaviors, and some people are going to have an advantage over me and some won't, just based off, people having similarities. That's why games are started. I can't say that I didn't contribute to, you know, success in the heterosexual bond between woman and man, because I have. I've written songs and everything, and I'm like, a lot of people like music, and it's one of those things that you can profit out of to, you know, enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a financial, you know, profit. It's more so just having fun. So I gotta realize that, you know, the stigmas on my womanhood is the reason why, I probably won't reach as much success as I want. And there's people out here that really live a certain lifestyle. When you're a kid, when I was a kid, it seemed as though some of those people had jobs and it was like, well, somebody robbed me the other day, or my boyfriend robbed me. People take their problems out on other people. So what I'm realizing, growing up, my mom ended up marrying a guy that had, I guess, you know, a real story to tell, I guess. And, as a person that hasn't, as a person, as a human being, I don't care who you are, you're going to go through something, you know. It created a pessimistic effect in my brain. I have a lot of emotional problems. A lot of people want to wanted to create tension between me and them. Growing up, my mom is a baby mama. All that dysfunctional stuff is something I got to deal with. It makes me mad because I'm like, look at all this, you know, reality music that men are making. Look at all this, look at there are women that don't have the same, experiences as I can tell that certain women enjoy their effect on men, some don't. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely regret my contribution to manhood. Mm, I see a lot of mean spirited people, and it's not for just no reason. I mean, you really have to practice maturity. When I was a kid, there were women that were spitting on me and stuff like that. So I'm really surprised I'm still alive, because people, are really falling in love at early ages. And, the definition of my life, there's a lot of things I haven't seen. I was wondering, I always tell people I read the whole book of Revelation, and I wonder, on that Ripley's Believe It or Not show, is there really two mute animals with mutated genes that really have like two heads? Are conjoined twins real? Are there really things like this possible? It may or may not, be true. Most of these days, there's just a lot of knowledge that I have to, a lot of books I need to read just to have knowledge. Can nobody take that away from me? Being a woman, I kind of fear for my life, being that there are women that really, put certain people on a pedestal. On the demographic I'm living in, it just seems as though, I don't know. I don't have nothing to do with people's relationships, but as far as I'm concerned, people really want to be superior to you. I'm still stuck on the fact that people wanted me to be arrogant because of a man. In a real relationship, I don't think, arrogant is what you want to feel. Confidence is what you want to feel. I actually am studying, heterosexuality, just watching people, interact with one another, and I think that it's normal to, what I'm saying, be to love somebody. You got different kinds of love. You've got street love. Street love is not real love to me. You know what I'm saying? It's There are people that have a formatted life that's dysfunctional. And when I say dysfunctional, meaning that some people really are stuck on stupid. Being a woman, I realized that there are people that really enjoy men, and there are men that get off on it. When I was a kid, it seemed as though people was like, you need tough skin. There are people that are having advantages over us. You got to be careful how you raise your children. I won't say that my mom and dad did a bad job, but what I will say is that coming from a broken home, it's so much confusion. It's so much it's really hard for me to sympathize with half of the people in my life. That is not normal. So mm, and yeah, being that the crime of rape exists, it really makes no sense to me that all these men are sitting here trying to have sex with me against my own will. But I've got a lot to look up when it comes to slavery and everything. It's I really feel as though they really get off on the fact that I'm agitated by the fact that they want to use my womanhood against me. Some people have a lot of submission and they're like, man, I broke their whole pride and shit like that. It really doesn't make sense. There are people, I'm pretty sure they have more intellect than me, and it really just makes no sense that, some of these people are dealing with certain things. But certain people think, that certain people deserve certain things. It really doesn't make no sense to me that I'm being disrespected because of a man. Because if there's a bush mentality out here and most women are claiming to be this, you obviously have a jealousy streak for men. There are some, advantages to their gender identity. So, my earliest memories is adults arguing with me. And like I've said before, the definition of tough love is basically to have somebody um, be rejectful with you and help you to understand that betrayal is real. And at the end of the day, you may leave this earth one day and may not be nobody there for you to reach for. But when I leave this earth, it's gonna be peacefully, because at the end of the day, half the stuff I've been through, I didn't deserve to go through. You know what I'm saying? Like dealing with dysfunctional people. It's easy for me to say now, but like I said, if I was a man, I wouldn't even. A lot of these, a lot of people in certain demographics are very predictable. You know, I really don't understand, polygamy and things of that nature. I mean, you got to be a pretty decent person to do that. I mean, I think if you value monogamy, I think it's something that you practice because you feel sorry for people, or it's a survival thing. You know what I'm saying? As a person that really, it's a lot of dysfunctionality out here. A lot of people really do live by a certain code. I watch people that have pictures of tattoos of money and stuff on them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if I should take offense to that or not, because that means that, by any means, these people, these heterosexual bonds and stuff that I see, I'm like, any given moment, they can just be like, babe, let's do this, let's do that. People really want their respect naturally. I cannot naturally respect heterosexuality because it just doesn't make sense. I grew up and it growing up too fast is not a good thing. I didn't expect to live this long surviving dysfunctionality. It really makes no sense to me. Half of the people in my life seem to be retarded, slow, and they really take pride in where they come from. It makes no sense. And like I said, I don't blame people for sitting there doing all that extra shit because they want an advantage over me. Like I said, I get mad every time I work out because it's a normal thing, you know, for in this society for people to just, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. My mind be all over the place, feeling a little mentally stagnant. A pill can't cure that. You actually have to heal yourself. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the people in the graveyards. Shout out to people that really take pride in who they are. Mm, I'm like, people really want me. I don't understand. You know, I have a mom, and I'm like, I don't understand why we experience half the shit we experience. I mean, you know, you really. I think our best bet is to survive. Like learn as much as we can and get away. Some people stay in the same place. It makes no sense to me. Like I don't think it makes no sense for us to grow up in Georgia and not be somewhere else. We need to go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And it's always something. People will be like, well, it's some people that do some ruthless shit out here. And you know what? If I ever get killed or something because of heterosexuality, I ain't even gonna be mad because at the end of the day, it's something that I don't understand. It's something that they try to instill in me as a normal idea, but it's not normal to me. You know what I'm saying? Just in a general sense. Dealing with chauvinistic men and dealing with the fact that a lot of people really just want to give you a struggle when they go through stuff. You got to be careful who you fuck with. I don't understand when niggas go around telling you to respect they set. It's a lot of chauvinistic men that do that. People aren't, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no telling what these people done been through, but it really doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? If I was a heterosexual male, I would not even want to work. I would just be chilling with my babe surviving. It makes no sense to me that all these people are doing it, but doing all this extra shit, I don't get it. And then the stigmas on, femininity and masculinity when it comes to woman and manhood, it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. You know, a lot of people seemingly have better lives. A lot of things are a conscious decision for me. I eat meat and I'm like, I always smell shit because of that, but that could just be, my body, process the food well. As long as you move your body and walk a little bit, a little jogging, intense exercises if you want, your body will process things better. But there's a lot that I have to learn, and at the end of the day, like I said, I don't understand half the shit I've been through. You know what I'm saying? If I die by the hands of heterosexual, I don't understand why women think they're important. I don't have enough knowledge to think that we're important. I mean, we're an important aspect to have kids and things of that nature, but to me, women are nothing special. Not when it comes to misogyny, chauvinism, and things of that nature. Doesn't make sense. I don't get it. I don't understand. You know, I don't know. A lot of people be saying like it's common sense. If a man have sex with you, you need to go ahead and just develop a heterosexual identity and go along with it. But it's not just that simple. It doesn't make sense. That's why the crime of rape exists. I'm like the way that these men are reacting to me. I'm like, you know, I will enjoy a confident man, but not an arrogant one. I think those are two different tones to the word. You know, there are heterosexual bonds where women are making sacrifices to keep a certain level of femininity and things of that nature. In the demographic I grew up in, a woman was sitting there, had a whole overhead projector of you know, talking about on an overhead projector, you know, talking about why in this demographic women need to be dominatrix to really control a man sexually. That's in that all the stuff I've been through is just an illiterate perspective. It just don't make no sense. It's humiliating. How would you teach a bunch of girls to be like that? I'm like, when y'all bitches be getting y'all ass whooped, then y'all become boxers and butches and shit. That's what people want to call you when you ain't with a man. You're a butch. I'm like, if you gotta sit here and be muscle and shit, how can you preserve your femininity? I watch so many women get emasculated by, you know, I mean, perhaps I was overthinking, but I watched so many women change. My brain works perfectly fine. I'm like a dad out here. I've seen so many women, grow up and stuff, and it's like being a hurt dad. Like, damn, you really grew up like this. I know for a fact that my life is simple. My life, I ain't did nothing but, freestyle songs for Baby Soldier. You know what I'm saying? Realizing that I have an inferiority complex to men. Everybody doesn't have that. I'm pretty sure there are places where you can go where people don't have certain things that they're being taught naturally or unnaturally, just, in a general sense. A lot of people told me I take things too personally, but you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard, like, to understand that, people really will go through things, and you just have to be mature about the way they're responding to it. I'm like, from my understanding, people really wanted me to have a heterosexual identity. A lot of people that I grew up around saying, when I have a child, I ain't gonna whoop my child, I ain't gonna do none of that shit. But it's natural. A lot of people do become what happens to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say that they become what happens to them, but a lot of people, experience stress because they're being forced to do it. I don't appreciate people cracking jokes on the fact that, their manhood is being put on a pedestal. I really just need to go somewhere else. I've seen like a video of people in India eating, you know, food sitting on a sidewalk and shit. I don't even know if it was India. It's probably Saudi Arabia or something. People really come together. I didn't grow up in a bad demographic. I think I grew up in, compared to certain places and seeing where high population, you know, people come together and stuff like that. I'm not supposed to feel agitated, but I am because it all happened naturally. I was thinking like, I wonder if people who learn how to fly planes or blimps or jets, just living in the sky, looking down like, damn, there's somebody down there going through some shit, and they can't really change that fact. I can't change the fact that I'm a big schizophrenic because of growing up in dysfunction. I have these men in my life. I don't think they deserve kids. I mean, I really do just like having fun by myself. And, a lot of people are weirdos. A lot of weirdos, you know, Michael Jackson was a weirdo. A lot of people really do have dysfunctional childhoods, and they really want to feel like a big kid for the rest of their life. We do have these people with these paradigms out here. They're going to be stuck in a childlike mind for the rest of their life because they didn't think it was normal, or they learned more and they realized that it wasn't normal. You know what I'm saying? You would never know if somebody's being manipulative. That's why you got to be careful what you do, what you're saying, who you keep around you. When I go in these fast food restaurants, I'm like, okay, so let me uplift womanhood. When I see a bunch of women working together and they're kind of thick and stout, I'm like, I can tell that, they've been doing this for a long time. And, what I'm saying? Some people really have a skill. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a skilled worker. It's something that happens over time. Sometimes you have passion, sometimes you have to develop it. You know, I really be feeling sorry for like us as women because there are double standards and whatnot, and it do. People can run game on you. Some people do seemingly have better lives, and what I'm saying. I don't think it was normal for women to be spitting on me because they fell in love with me in their early ages and stuff like that. That's exactly what they were doing. They were like, "Well, you ain't no threat to our bond, so let's go ahead and nip that in the bud." No, these are negative situations that basically um, created tension in my soul. This is how people form schizophrenia. Now, people will sometimes view you as a negative person, and people can use your womanhood against you. Most women are stigmatized to be emotional wrecks. And I mean, I've seen hypersensitive men that are sensitive, but sometimes it's not taken for that. Sometimes it's just taken for that's a guy and he just being sensitive. There's no, negative connotation to it. You know, it just depends on how you're raised. I don't think nothing about anybody I grew up around, anybody around me had a functional lifestyle. Like I said, I've analyzed a lot of behavior. That's what I have done. Rich homie Quan. I done written songs for half these people. I wasn't rich. I wasn't rich to my knowledge when I was born, but I was rich in spirit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like one of them people. If you get $1 million, just give me 20,000. Some people look right stunned. Some people don't. It's not about that. You know, a lot of women that I grew up around, when you're in the ghetto, there's a culture, a pimp culture. It's something that we embrace naturally because, you know, it's something that can benefit you when you have a bond with somebody and y'all trying to, have financial success. Because a lot of times financial success means that, you have a certain level, a certain intellectual capacity, and, you're able to help keep a business going, or you're the reason why, this, that, and the third. When a woman challenges me over a man, I think I take offense to it. And then there's, this so called boyfriend I had when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? It really breaks my heart that a lot of these men do have an advantage because of their manhood, and they're really wanting to say that, well, I did this, that, and the third, and whoever I'm with or whoever I'm around would know that I'm able to tame something. That's what I get from that. You know, I've written a lot of songs for a lot of men, and I was doing a lot of analyzing. I think a human being that isn't growing up too fast will definitely have a more healthier life. I think when people go on YouTube, have these people that ain't got views, one day will be there'll be way, way in the future, there'll be somebody just bored as hell pulling up a video saying that there was somebody that grew up in the hood, or there was somebody that had sex too early, and this is the effect they had on them. Let's watch how society has increased in happiness and joyfulness because people aren't doing things at an early age. I mean, you know, there's something wrong. You have to be an intellect. People try to sympathize. Even if somebody puts you through something, people try to be sympathetic. But a lot of these men know they have an advantage over me. A lot of these men, are doing things for a success rate. They like, shit, I got people submitted to me. Let me get the people what they want out of submission or just out of arrogance or just in a general sense. I'm a man. All these people submitting to me. Let me just give them what they want. I got a family to take care of. I'm like, there's so many people in this world. I'm not nobody special. It's a lot of things, people, say they muscle and they want to force you to do something, you know. It really doesn't make sense to me that I don't blame people for using my identity as a female against me. I really don't. Everybody's gonna, I don't care what people do. Long as you're still living, that's all that matters. A lot of people just really stuck on stupid. I come from a bad demographic to myself, where there are a lot of people. If I was a man, my life would have been better because men are encouraged to do certain things more. Most women are encouraged to be tomboys and stuff like that. So I have to, realize that some of these women really just got a vendetta against me because they like men. and they want to break my pride when it comes to that. It's stupid. Most people really are just living their lives. Look at how people struggle and really be stuck on stupid. You can tell that a lot of people I was watching Atlanta street interviews and stuff like that. I'm like, some people go through things and materialism is not the answer. I have schizophrenia. A lot of people that I grew up around really, you know, like I said, I've got this thing when it comes to, being a butch and stuff like that. I'm like, I know that exercise, when you're dealing with stress, exercise is the answer to make your body feel looser. But being that people really do shit to me because of me, and I'm like, I don't understand why I ain't dead. And I'm not saying that shit out of sarcasm either. I'm like, people really want to prove to somebody that they're loyal to them. I don't understand why I should accept disrespect and not going about my life. Like when I grew up in Atlanta, I pretty much thought that was the ghetto. Some people don't view it as that. A lot of these women are, arrogant. A lot of these women really do, have affection for men. And they just, they're not going along with shit. It's really genuine. But I can't tell. Like I said, all I see is dysfunction. There are really crazy people that go around and gang up on people and do crazy shit. Make them smoke a cigarette. Make them smoke a blunt. It makes absolutely no sense. If I was a heterosexual male, I don't even understand why I value monogamy. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of crazy people out here. It's easy for me to say now that I'm in a woman's body, but I actually don't value polygamy. And I'm like, you got to be a real smart person to really engage in polygamy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really people that really need love, and you get to give them a little side affection. You know, I got when I grew up, a lot of women were trying to be stern and stuff, but I'm like, these women doing all this stuff to get respect from men. I don't think it just doesn't make sense to me. I think people need to be more single people, and everybody just need to be by themselves because it really makes no sense. It's just normal behavior. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm like, I can't stand the fact that there's tension between me and certain people. It makes no sense to me. I'm like, well, I can't just grow up and go on by my day. The way that certain people act, I'm like, you doing all this shit for no reason. It just makes no sense. I'm like, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. I'm like, I done experienced so much disrespect from other women. I'm like, I have no choice but to reject my womanhood for manhood. I sit there and I observe men, and I'm like, what is it in them that you see? Look at all these male presidents, so called, all these rappers and stuff. Men doing their thing or their thing. It's a bunch of confusion. And I was like telling, one of my co-workers that I found a book called The Superior Man, on a walking trail, and I'm like, I'm probably not gonna read it because it's probably, human beings have quite the imagination. I haven't really seen three-headed beasts and all that stuff. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm like, it's probably, a bunch of excerpts from random people justifying everything with biblical verses or something. But I don't know. I'm scared to open it, but I'll probably read it. I guess perhaps it can help me deal with the inferiority complex that I have because of men based off the fate of my life. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't more rich to myself, so I named the mixtape that. That's all we were doing, representing who we were. You know, there's a mixtape called Rich Gang. You know, a lot of people grow up and they have to speak things into existence with rich kids. Even if we ain't millionaires, we on the block and we got $2,000-$3,000, and you know we the man or the woman, whatever. You know, I really do reject womanhood for manhood, and it's just a paradigm in my head. I'm like, I be feeling sorry for us because, like I said, there are double standards, and you have to really explain to people why this and why that. You know, I've lifted a lot of men, like like growing up. I ain't even know who Torrance Hatch was. I don't even know who Lil Boosie is. I done wrote songs for them. I've done a lot of analyzing. Like I said, I wrote I freestyled a song for Lil Wayne Squad Up, one of his mixtapes, that Jay-Z Girls Girls Girls, and I'm like, I really want to feel confident because of women. And I'm like, I really did snap on all that shit. So I'm like, man, for me to be sitting here thinking too hard about everything that's going on, y'all men ain't nothing special to my ass. Know that. For real. For real. Like, on some real shit. A lot of people think they special. Ain't nobody special out here. I'm just sensitive though. You know, my body is weak. I'm showing flu symptoms, but I don't, necessarily, you know, I'm about to fight this shit off with Theraflu and shit. And it's not really, my phlegm is not really turning color, so I ain't really tripping. But,